I'm going to be summarizing these three sources in my screencast. The author of this article talks about the federal government's resistance to legalize marijuana. He criticizes the fact the government ignores objective scientific evidence when creating drug policy. He also discusses how more research on marijuana needs to be done to determine the impact of legalization. Most people know marijuana has a wide range of medicinal benefits, but other factors need to be considered, such as its potential for drug abuse. The author's fieldwork showed that those who grow up in poverty are at a higher risk for drug abuse due to the desperate conditions they live in. In today's society, marijuana is the most popular drug among urban youth, whereas in the past, the drug of choice has been crack or heroin. It's possible that the increase of marijuana use is leading to a decrease in alcohol and narcotic use. The author clearly believes that the war on drugs is a failure. He says that the government needs to stop combating risk reduction because the punitive policies the US government is using makes the negative health effects of drug use even worse. The next source discusses medicinal marijuana and claims that its Schedule I status needs to be reviewed so there can be research done to effectively use it medicinally. Since the federal government hasn't changed the schedule of marijuana, it's up to the states to lead the movement. This just proves the government ignores evidence when deciding drug policy. But since so many states are changing their drug laws, the Department of Justice said they will not focus their resources on state-permitted marijuana use. Physicians can't actually prescribe marijuana because of federal law. However, they can recommend it for certain medical conditions. This is because there aren't laws to regulate quality and potency of the drug. The states usually specify how much marijuana the patient is permitted, but it's not clear how they are supposed to acquire it. The author concludes the article by saying that while the state changes in policy are a move in the right direction for people who need medicinal marijuana, it's inadequate to advance effective treatment. The last article I found calls out the Controlled Substance Act for being outdated and created without much research having been done. The author calls the law antique. His main claim is that it should be repealed so states can be allowed to decide how marijuana should be controlled themselves. States have begun disregarding the federal government's law because marijuana is scheduled with the most dangerous mind-altering drugs on earth. In general, the public also disagrees with the federal government's scheduling of marijuana because it's not known to ruin lives like how highly addictive narcotics do. States are starting to ignore the federal government's laws because they don't want to imprison citizens for something they don't deserve.